Yo, what's going on, Jaredy Athletes? In today's video, I want to tell you about the number one thing that I personally struggle with when it comes to losing weight, and that thing is overeating. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about why I struggle with overeating, but I also wanted to make this video because I feel like this is a problem that many people struggle with. So my hope is that from the things that I'm going to talk about in this video, you can relate to it, and then I'm also going to describe how I still am able to maintain a super lean physique when I struggle with overeating. Let me know in the comments if you can relate to this, because this is me. I do not struggle with motivation. I do not struggle with gaining muscle. I do not struggle with making sure that I'm working out and moving my body and all that. If anything, I struggle with having rest days. Like, I'm always doing jump rope, push-ups, pull-ups, surfing, walking, hiking, anything that anyone wants to do active, I'm always down to do that. So that's not what I struggle with. I also have gotten much better about not eating crappy food all the time. So like sugary processed food, I don't do cheat meals anymore. My diet has shifted heavily to one that does not contain a lot of processed sugars and carbs. So that's also not my issue. My issue is simply, I love to eat, man. Like, I just eat too much food. If it were up to my body and I wasn't thinking about being lean or losing weight, I would probably eat somewhere in the range of 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day. And again, let me know if you can relate to this. It is a daily struggle for me not to eat 5,000 calories because I'm just kind of hungry all the time. I'm a bigger guy and I like to eat food. And so any times that, especially within the past 2 years, that I've struggled with fluctuating weight, it's not because I'm eating the wrong food. It's not because I'm demotivated. It's not because I'm not working out or doing the things I'm supposed to be. It's simply I'm just creating the wrong energy balance. I'm creating an energy surplus. So simply put, I am putting more calories into my body than are being burned. And for me, that's typically in the form of like, I just eat, too much meat or too much fish and rice and sweet potatoes with that and maybe some cheese. Sometimes at night I eat way too much fruit. I've told you guys that I eat frozen mango, but some nights I eat the whole bag and then I eat another bag, and guess what those are filled with? Sugars. So even though it's fruit, I'm still just consuming too much. And I think that's important to remember. You can be eating healthy or what you think is healthy, but if you are eating too much, you are not going to be able to lose weight. So you might be wondering like, well, Dan, why does this matter? And for me, this matters because I feel my best when I am about 190 pounds and I'm somewhere in the range of 8 to 10% body fat. In the past, I've gotten down to like 5% body fat and I've had veins in my stomach. I feel terrible. My testosterone drops. I don't feel good. I don't think anybody should be that low of a body fat percentage. But then I've also had times, like that video I just made,
I got up to the highest weight that I've ever been at like 219 pounds.
I also have times where I get up to like 13% body fat, 14% body fat. And that also doesn't make me feel good. I feel like I just have a little bit of extra skin that I don't want. I feel a little bit bloated and just kind of weighed down. When I'm at 190 pounds and about 8 to 9% body fat, that's when I not only feel my most performative, like I'm able to, just do a bunch of workouts and stuff, but I feel confident. That's when I feel the most lean and like I can perform at a high level. I also like being in that lean kind of low weight level because when I'm doing activities like surfing or skating, I just feel lighter and quicker and faster. So that's why this is important to me, because typically I'm always trying to prevent myself from overeating so I can stay in that range that I just described. I also feel like mentally, when I'm able to get down to those numbers I just talked about, that's when I also just feel the sharpest in my head. And I just feel like, work's going well, stuff in my personal life is going well. That's just how Dan Whitmer feels like the most Dan Whitmer. And I'm sure you guys probably have that version of yourself too. But sometimes that can be covered up because you just have a little bit too much excess fat, which can lead to just kind of being uncomfortable in your own skin. And maybe even feeling a little bit irritable and not really knowing the source of that, when really it's like you just feel a little bit like you have too much fat on your body and you just want to like get rid of that. Now, second part of the video, because I overeat, if you can relate to this, here's some of the things I do to prevent myself from overeating all the time or checking myself when I notice, okay, Dan, you're starting to gain a little bit of weight or overeat or whatnot. The first thing I always focus on is eating less meals. If I wake wake up and eat breakfast, that means I'm probably gonna eat lunch. And then I'm probably gonna eat dinner, maybe 2 dinners. So the best thing that works for me is just to have 1 to 2 meals, because that overall just reduces the amount of calories that I eat throughout the day. Now, I'm not very strict on doing intermittent fasting anymore like we used to be, but I try to eat most of my calories towards the end of the day, because the longer I can wait, the lower total amount of calories I will eat for that day. If I start eating a bunch of calories in the beginning of the day, I'm probably just gonna continue, and then my total for that whole day is gonna be pretty high. Number 2, I prioritize my protein. So before I even think about eating rice, sweet potatoes, you know, a bunch of like carb-filled foods, I think about what protein am I gonna eat tonight? Whether it's a pound of ground beef, a pound of ground turkey, a bunch of chicken cutlets, a ribeye steak, whatever that is, I try to pick out my protein and make sure that most of my meal or meals that I'm going to eat is mostly made up of that, some kind of lean meat, red meat, or fish. What this does is it helps to satiate me. It fills you up so you don't feel as hungry to eat those other more carb-rich, calorie-rich foods. The third thing is I just try not to snack. I believe people hold on to a lot of excess weight because they don't think about all the little handfuls of snacks that they take throughout the day. You know, that stuff can add up to a lot of calories. And then on top of that, if you're eating another 2 to 3 meals, full-size meals, you're just gonna have an excess of calories by the end of the day. So I just get it out of my head that if it's not a meal, I'm not even snacking. Or if I do snack, sometimes, because I drink black coffee in the morning, so sometimes that makes my stomach feel weird on an empty stomach. So I'll eat like a handful of nuts or a handful of blueberries or something, but I don't, you know, have a little snack, go work for an hour, have a little snack, and then have a meal. So just in general, stop snacking or do it a lot less. The fourth thing is I have been working more on meditation and breathing practices. One thing that I notice about myself is I'm a very scatterbrained, kind of hyper person, and sometimes I do things unconsciously. That includes eating. If I'm not paying attention, my body might just be like, oh, I'm bored, I'm hungry, I need to put stuff in my mouth. And then I do that, and then I'm like, oh man, now I'm like gaining weight and I don't need to be doing that. So one thing I've noticed is that when I am consistently doing meditation, even just like 10 minutes every other day, or I'm working on my breathing exercises of like taking a full breath in, letting it out, and counting those breaths. Like when I'm being conscious of the present moment, I typically find that I'm able to catch those feelings in my head of like, oh, I need to eat, I want to eat something. And I'm just able to be like, you know what? I think I'm good right now because I'm chilling. I'm, you know, in the present moment here, and I know that I'm eating in a couple hours, so I don't need to go into the pantry and eat this whole bag of pistachios or chips or whatever that may be for you. I'm not saying you have to get all woo-woo with it, but do a quick Google search of some meditation or breathing exercises that can just help you bring yourself into the present moment more and less likely to do those impulsive just grabbing things and eating them. The fifth thing I do is I try to plan my eating around working out. So I try to get a workout in and then eat right after, so that's the point where my body's like, okay, we just did, you know, a bunch of pull-ups, a bunch of heavy jump ropes, the muscles are stimulated, but now in order to replenish and recover, those muscles need calories in the form of, you know, the good food like I've talked about. So that also helps me to just like focus on my workout, do what I need to do, knowing that my reward for doing that is a big healthy meal that's going to help me build muscle and burn fat. Number 6, my diet is super simple and easy to follow, and honestly, following this new diet that I've been on, check out this video. I explain in detail what that is, but basically my whole diet's pretty much real food. It's just meat, lean meat, fish, nuts, fruit, and that's kind of it. Sweet potatoes are the carbs that I eat. I sometimes eat rice. I eat a lot of kimchi to keep my gut health good, but for the most part, I just eat like a lot of the same stuff, and that is perfectly fine for me because I don't know about you, but I can rotate between steak and salmon and chicken with a bunch of good seasonings on it, and sweet potatoes and eggs and things like that. The diet that I'm currently on never gets old, but it also allows me not to overeat as easily as maybe how I used to eat in the past. All right, JRD athletes, that's the number one thing I struggle with when it comes to weight loss. And to go back off what I said earlier, I really feel like I've come to a place in my life where I feel confident in teaching you guys things about health and fitness because I've improved my own habits and behaviors over many, many years, but I'm still not there. I still have things that I'm working on all the time. And I love, you know, this YouTube channel just being a way that I can share these things with you guys and relate to you, because weight is something that like you don't ever obtain a certain weight and then you just stay like that, or you like get to a certain muscle mass and you just stay that way. It's really a lifestyle and a routine that you have to cultivate over time and with habits, and that you have to consistently do over time. So hopefully this video was helpful to you guys. Always would appreciate the comments below if you have any. This video is brought to you guys by Crossrope, our favorite jump rope in the world. We talk about it all the time. The discount is flashing up on the screen here, but if you're serious about losing weight with a jump rope and you want to get the best one on the market, that's the Crossrope. Crossrope has a 60-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like it, you just send it back, get a full refund. Not a big deal. They're really good with that. Check it out. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good one.